Giveaway rules and guides will be on the description. As part of one of 2 new projects I have proposed, this video will be the first one, which explains the parallels of 2 heroes who has similar gameplay or lore. So let's call it Hero Parallels series. The first one will be about Freya and Argus. Oh, and do note that this isn't necessarily means a 1v1 comparison focusing on lore and gameplay for the most part. Without a further ado, let's start with their summarized lore. Argus is a fallen angel who is also twin siblings of another angel, Rafaela. Angels in these settings are born from human women who drank Lord of Light's essence, and they supposedly all female, thus making Argus a one-of-kind male angel as well as being only known fallen angel. Thus, he is effectively shunned by almost everyone, culminating his obsession with justice reaches to the point where Rafaela hurted him enough to turn away and serves the abyss, becoming the nigh-immortal fallen angel in process and cast away his sister's every attempt to reach him. Freya is a Valkyrie, the younger siblings of the more experienced one, Skald. And Valkyries in these settings are more closer to Norse mythology. They all are handpicked female warriors who were once ordinary humans, and guides those who have died in battle to an afterlife named Valhalla. Freya willingly becomes a Valkyrie to honor her late sister, who seemingly vanished during Aurora Heart incident, and greatly revered as a legend across the Northern Vale. Freya wields a sword and shield that seemingly imbued with light-based power, and she can combine both to create a polearm, granting her greater power and reach. Athena's shield lore reveals that it was Freya's shield all along.
Never forget your love for the
Argus only carries long single-edged sword at one point called Demise, before his lore ray tweaked again, seemingly having unnamed. This sword was given to him upon his servitude with the Abyss, and .it radiates dark green energy, and he has no problem swinging it at rapid pace, hinting his greater strength and dexterity with it. Thus a weapon worthy to be called as such. Base stats. Note that they do not use items and only use same emblems. Also forgot to note that the base stat exclude Argus's leveled ULT. Passive and basic attack. Freya's passive only massively increase her attack speed, but every time she uses her skills, her next basic attack gets attack speed 3 if sparingly, stacking up to 6 times 18 if sparingly. Unfortunately, it does not increase her damage, nor modify its properties like hitting enemies under basic attack immunity. The passive was intended to remove her dependence of attack speed items.
A scar is the testament of a warrior's honor.
Argus's passive lets his next basic attack deal higher damage, heal him by physical attack he has, and benefits basic attack effects. They must be refilled steadily, dealing or taking damage. The lower his HP is, the faster his passive charges. An issue for this basic attack that it's one of few basic attack that can miss, meaning it will not damage enemy who quickly goes out of his reach even when he uses his passive. It can be wasted on a dying target, and the heal effect do not trigger against buildings or hitting enemies who immuned it.
Show yourselves, you foolish
While both uses neither mana nor energy, Freya instead uses Orb Stat. Consumed for second skill with first use after cooling down does not consume orb that cannot be generated even in base and affected by purple buff. The orbs can only acquired by landing 2 hit with basic attack enemies. Under basic attack immunity, do not count or using her ULT refills all her orbs. She can only store up to 3 orbs at a time. Argus meanwhile steadily charges his passive over the time and immediately refills it upon activating his ULT and increases the passive charging speed. Otherwise, Argus's passive only gets consumed if he performs basic attack with his passive full. First skill. Apparently both of their first skill are their only dash skills, but with their own difference. Argus's first skill are perfect for long distance pursuit. Both he and his target gets
never
bored in
claimed
middle
to be
upon connecting,
undefeated,
and
but
his second phase is
unbreakable.
always ready regardless if he misses or not. When both phases combine, his first skill has more overall damage. The drawbacks are the cooldown lasts 12 seconds all level and having little to no AoE in it.
It wasn't me. I'm afraid it would be Rafaela. All shall be judged. Be it human or demon. Overbearing clerics, be ready for my fury.
Stand firm and hold your ground.
While Freya has lower base cooldown that can go as low as 6 seconds as of now, and it has AoE that both stun and pull enemies into her upon landing. In addition, recent buff no longer consumes orbs, while still having the stun effect.
Fallen warriors, let me guide you home.
It, however, has poor overall damage by both base damage and scaling,
never
so this
claimed to
skill
be
is more suited
undefeated,
at intercepting
but
than dishing
unbreakable.
ton of damage.
Follow
Second
my
skill.
lead and march onward.
Both second skill are their primary damage skill. Argus's version is a single-use AoE skill that deals damage in linear area about 3 minions. Enemy heroes hit by it will leave blood trails that Argus can walk onto. To gain extra movement speed as well as said heroes receives bleeding effect from initial hit. This bleeding effect damages enemy the more they move around. The biggest issue with this skill is that it's a single use and still poor AoE forces him to use it with precision, especially against agile opponents.
Only the strongest.
The bleeding
shall
effect
survive.
can be mitigated by just standing still and can even be purified. It will not even triggered if the target is forcibly moved by CCs, including his first skill.
Overbearing clerics, be ready for my fury.
Against Freya, her second skill now forces her to stop upon hitting hero or jungle and gives herself some shield, thus are not much effective. On a bright side, Argus's second skill has 200% damage bonus to minions, while jungles, Turtle and Lord will always bleed even if they stand still. Freya's version is a multi-use skill that has versatile use and has 2 more phases. Freya slightly dashes to the intended direction while dealing some damage with third cast deals stronger AoE damage that also knock up enemies. On top of, every cast gives herself some shield. What makes this skill as frightening is that recent adjustment allows her to abuse it as long as she kept refiling her ults, and now it is only skill that consumes it. This allows her to poke, absorb damage and counter attacks with the first cast after resetting through cooldown. Even all 3, this also helps her soak up some true damage. Its flaws are the dash distance is not enough to go over the wall, making it clear that it is more of attack skill than dash.
Unbreakable.
Another thing is to note that her rework made her essentially breathe shield, which made her even more vulnerable against Esmeralda. Moreover, her second skill can be stopped by Kufra, except the CC phase. Very sensitive to Phobia's passive. And of course, her only attack skills were considered as dash, so Midsitha's ULT effectively disable her, except her ULT.
My ancestors are watching from the
Ultimate.
I won't let them down.
Both of their ultimate enters Valkyrie or Fallen Angel form, which bestows them an enhanced fighting prowess in direct combat. Ironically, it does not grant them movement speed buff on their own. Freya's ULT grants herself physical attack comparable to Great Dragon Spear at the max level, A shield that's slightly stronger than Aegis. Refills all orbs upon use. Increasing her basic attack range, and finally infuse her basic attack with splash damage that can hit multiple enemies, giving her basic attack a superior reach than most fighters in this state. Note that only main target that receive basic attack effects burn. They can also crit and benefit both lifesteal and spellbound, the latter only if hitting multiple enemies. This ult lasts for 10 seconds but having longer base cooldown than Argus. Crowd control can interrupt it, but won't enter in cooldown until animation is complete. Made Freya even more susceptible to Esmeralda, and she can only withstand up to 2000 more damage before the shield is failing. The shield itself is still not particularly strong without additional defenses, so burst easily destroys it. Argus's ult is a temporary invincibility, making him much better at tanking enemy team attacks, wasting their skills in process.
You foolish beings. The world born in darkness.
He immediately charges his passive once, gains slow immunity. Passive charging speed becomes faster, purify most CC effects. He heals himself in according how much damage he dealt while in ult state. Much shorter base cooldown, and every time he leveled his ult, he gains physical attack without needing to activate his ult. His ultimate's weakness is that it only lasts for 4 seconds on all level, doesn't grant damage boost buff, still susceptible to CCs in ult state. Suppress CC not only stops him in ult state, but also prevents him from using ult beforehand, becoming his hard counter.
Only the strongest shall survive. Immortality or death.
And now for last part, skins. Currently, Argus has 6 skins with only standouts are his Star Wars skin, Darth Vader, and he has more skin reworks basic, Elite and Starlight, as well as said Elite skin had a Recaller variant.
Light will fall prey to shadow.
Freya meanwhile has 8 skins in total, 2 of which are Epic Skin and 1 Squad skin belonging from Saber Squad. It along her Goddess of War skin are the only ones with unique voiceover. Only Dark Rose and Christmas Carnival has received rework. Like Argus's Elite skin, Freya's Elite skin too have Recaller variant.
I am a daughter of Northern Vale. I swear to protect it till my last breath.
Interestingly, both Starlight skin are dragon themed.
I swear to protect it till my last.
Forgot one more fun fact. Before their reworks, Argus was voiced by Kona Con Air, while Freya voiced by Christina V.
To shadow.
After their reworks, Naomi Smith voices Freya all the way through her Goddess of War and Saber skin, while Mark Elmer is Argus's current voice actor. That is all for the topic of this video, everyone. More hero parallels will come in the future. Hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Good luck to you all who joined my giveaway.
My ancestors are watching from Valhalla. I won't let them down. Never forget your love. Mega kill!
ready.
People of Northern Vale may be defeated, but never conquered!